Ladies and gentlemen, you're not a victim. I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't want to hear you talk about what happened to you, why you can't, or why you didn't. Winners don't make excuses. You hear me? Winners don't make excuses. Winners show up, they get to work, and they put in the grind even when the world feels like it's against them. Life's going to throw everything at you. And I mean everything. It's going to push you, pull you, kick you down when you're not looking. And it's easy to sit there and feel sorry for yourself to say it's too hard or it's not fair. It's easy to sit there and say, I've been dealt the wrong hand, but that's not how the winners think. Winners don't make excuses. Winners look at the cards they've been dealt and figure out how to play them. You can't change your circumstances, but you can control how you respond to them. You can control what you do with the hand you've been given. You know, life doesn't owe you anything. It doesn't owe you success. It doesn't owe you happiness. It doesn't owe you anything. If you want it, you got to go out there and take it. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be handed to you. And it's certainly not going to be pretty. There's going to be days when you want to quit, days when you want to throw in the towel and walk away. And on those days, you're going to have two choices. You can make an excuse or you can keep going. Excuses are easy. Excuses are comfortable. They let you off the hook. They make it okay to not try, to not give your best, and not go after what you want. But the reality is, the only thing excuses are going to get you is regret. That's it, regret. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with that. Not the person who told you that you couldn't do it. Not the person who doubted you. Not the person who gave up on you. It's you. You have to live with it. And when you look back, when you're standing there looking at your life, do you want to say, I gave it everything I had, or do you want to say, I could have, I should have, but I didn't because it was hard? Winners don't make excuses. You want to be a winner? Then stop looking for reasons why you can't. Stop looking for the easy way out. Stop looking for someone to blame. You are the reason, the only reason you're where you are. The world is not going to stop spinning just because you're tired or discouraged. The world is not going to pause because you're going through a rough patch. Life moves on, and you need to move with it. You need to get up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. The thing about winning is, it doesn't always look the way we think it does. Winning doesn't always mean coming in first. It doesn't always mean the loudest victory. Sometimes winning is simply surviving another day. Sometimes winning is getting through the tough times, the struggles, the pain. Sometimes winning is standing tall when everyone else is sitting down, when everyone else is quitting, when everyone else is making excuses. Winners don't make excuses because they know that every second, every minute, every hour counts. They know that every setback, every failure is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to become better. They know that the pain they're feeling right now is temporary, but the strength they'll gain from it will last a lifetime. Winners don't make excuses because they understand that if you want something, if you want to achieve greatness, you've got to be willing to do what others won't. You've got to be willing to work when no one's watching. You've got to be willing to push through when it's hard. You've got to be willing to take risks, to face the unknown, and to keep moving even when it feels like you're walking through fire. But the truth is, no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to hand you success. No one's going to take your pain away. The world doesn't care about your excuses, your reasons for not showing up, your reasons for not giving your best. It doesn't care. What the world cares about is results. What the world cares about is action. What the world cares about is what you do when the going gets tough. And guess what? You're going to face some tough times. You're going to face some challenges. There's going to be days when you don't feel like getting out of bed. There's going to be days when you don't feel like giving it your all. But on those days, winners show up. They don't make excuses. They don't wait for motivation to hit them. They don't wait for the stars to align. They don't wait for the perfect time. They just show up and do the work. And you know what happens when you do that? When you show up day after day, even when it's tough, even when it hurts, even when you're exhausted, you win. You win because you didn't quit. You win because you didn't make excuses. You win because you did the work when no one else was willing to. And that's what separates the winners from the rest of the pack. The winners are the ones who keep going when everyone else gives up. They're the ones who rise when everyone else falls. They're the ones who keep pushing when everyone else is sitting around waiting for something to change. Winners don't wait for the perfect conditions. They make the conditions perfect by showing up, by putting in the work, by making it happen. And here's the thing. No one said it was going to be easy. No one said you weren't going to face some tough times, some obstacles. In fact, it's the opposite. The road to success is never straight. It's full of twists, turns, detours, and dead ends. But that's what makes it worth it. That's what makes the victory so sweet. The struggle, the fight, the grind, those are the things that make success worth having. But you can't get there if you're always making excuses. If you're always finding reasons why you can't, you'll never get anywhere. You've got to make the decision right now that no matter what happens, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many times you fall down, you're not going to make excuses. You're going to get back up. You're going to keep fighting. And you're going to get what's yours. And listen to me, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to know everything. You just need to be willing to try. You just need to be willing to show up. You just need to be willing to do the work. And if you do that, if you show up every single day and give it your all, I promise you, you will succeed. Not because the world owes you anything, but because you earned it. You earned it through your hard work, your dedication, your refusal to make excuses. Because let me tell you something, no one ever became great by making excuses. No one ever achieved their dreams by sitting around and waiting for the stars to align. The great ones, the winners, are the ones who go out there and make it happen no matter the odds, no matter the setbacks, no matter the pain. They don't make excuses, they make results. So what are you going to do? Are you going to make excuses, or are you going to get to work? Are you going to sit there and wonder why it's not happening for you, or are you going to take action and make it happen? The choice is yours. But know this, if you want to be a winner, if you want to achieve your goals, if you want to rise above the rest, you've got to stop making excuses. You've got to show up every day, no matter what, and do the work. Because winners don't make excuses. Winners make things happen. The core message emphasizes that winners take responsibility for their actions and outcomes, never relying on excuses to justify failure or setbacks. They understand that excuses only hold them back and choose to take action instead. Life will present difficulties, but success is not achieved by avoiding these challenges. Winners push through adversity, knowing that struggle and failure are part of the journey to success. They keep going even when it's tough. Success is built through consistent effort, even when the conditions aren't ideal. Winners show up, put in the work day after day, and do what others aren't willing to do, regardless of how they feel or the obstacles in their way. Winners don't blame circumstances, people, or external factors for their failures. They take ownership of their actions, stay focused on their goals, and do what it takes to succeed without waiting for the perfect time or making excuses. Winners don't make excuses. That's the truth. You see, when you look around at successful people, you'll find that they don't spend their time finding reasons why they can't do something or why things didn't work out. They focus on what they can control and what they can do to move forward, regardless of the circumstances. Excuses are nothing but a crutch, a way to justify why you're not where you want to be or why you haven't achieved your goals yet. And the sad part is, when you rely on excuses, you let go of your own power. You give away your control and you start thinking that your success is in the hands of someone else, or that it's all just some matter of luck or fate. But the reality is, winners understand that the only person responsible for their success or failure is themselves. Excuses don't serve you. They never have. And they never will. You think that by telling yourself, I can't, or it's too hard, that you're protecting yourself from failure, but all you're doing is creating a barrier that stops you from even trying. And the truth is, the longer you let yourself make excuses, the longer it will take you to achieve anything worthwhile. It's the kind of thinking that keeps you stuck. You think you're sparing yourself from disappointment or pain, but in reality, you're delaying the inevitable, the pain that comes from not even trying, the pain of looking back years later and wondering, what if? When you're constantly making excuses, you're telling yourself that the world is out of your control. You're telling yourself that external forces are the reason you can't make progress. Maybe it's your job, your family situation, your financial constraints, or even your past failures. We've all been there. We've all been in a place where we felt like the odds were stacked against us. We've all been in a situation where it seemed like everything was working against us. But winners don't make excuses. They face the challenges head on. They don't look for ways to escape their circumstances. They look for ways to overcome them. They know that if they wait for the perfect moment, the stars to align, or for everything to be easy, they'll be waiting forever. Success doesn't work that way. I want you to understand something important. Making excuses is not going to change your situation. It's just going to keep you in the same spot. Making excuses makes you feel comfortable in your failure, but it does nothing to move you forward. You're telling yourself that it's okay to not try because of this or that. But it's not okay. The world is not going to wait for you to get your act together. Time is moving forward, and if you're not moving with it, then you're falling behind. You've got to make the decision today to stop making excuses and start taking action. The world will give you every reason to stop, every reason to quit. But winners don't give in. They keep going. Think about this. Every time you make an excuse, you're accepting mediocrity. You're saying that the current situation is good enough, that it's okay to be stuck where you are. Winners are not satisfied with mediocrity. Winners want more. They want better. And they know that to get better, they have to be willing to do more. They have to push through the pain, the struggle, the self-doubt, and the fear. And they don't use excuses to hold them back. Instead, they use obstacles as fuel. They look at challenges as opportunities to grow and to prove to themselves what they're made of. Every excuse you make is a missed opportunity. Think about all the things you said you couldn't do because of this reason or that. How many dreams have you let slip away because you told yourself it was too hard or you weren't ready? How many times have you stayed in your comfort zone because it was easier than facing the challenge? But that's the thing about excuses. They keep you comfortable in your mediocrity. They keep you stuck in a cycle of inaction. And while you're sitting there making excuses, someone else is out there doing the work, pushing through and achieving what you think is impossible. Winners don't sit back and let opportunities pass them by. They grab them with both hands and do what they need to do to make the most of them. Making excuses also keeps you from being accountable. When you make excuses, you're shifting the blame to something or someone else. You're saying, it's not my fault that this didn't work out. It's because of this person or this situation or this thing that happened to me. But here's the truth: you are in control of your life. No one else. If you let someone or something else dictate how far you go, then you've given away your power. The only thing holding you back is yourself. And when you make excuses, you're taking away your own accountability. You're giving yourself a free pass to not take responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and your outcomes. But if you want to be a winner, if you want to be successful, you've got to own everything about your journey. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, I'm not saying that life is fair. I'm not saying that everything is always going to go your way. It won't. But what matters is how you respond when things don't go as planned. Winners know that life is going to throw obstacles their way. They know that things won't always be easy. But they also know that every obstacle is an opportunity to show their true strength. They understand that challenges are a part of the process, not a reason to give up. And they don't make excuses. They don't throw their hands up and say, it's too much. Instead, they take a step back, reevaluate, and keep pushing forward. You've got to stop thinking that your circumstances are the reason you can't achieve your goals. Stop looking at your job, your relationships, your financial situation as reasons to give up on your dreams. Those are not excuses. Those are just obstacles that can be overcome if you're willing to work for it. If you're willing to sacrifice, if you're willing to put in the time, and if you're willing to keep going even when it's hard. The road to success is not easy. It's not meant to be. But that's what makes it worth it. That's what makes the victory so sweet. And if you keep making excuses, you'll never experience the sweetness of victory. You'll never know what it feels like to push through, to keep going when everyone else is quitting, to break through those barriers that everyone else said you couldn't break. At the end of the day, you've got to decide what kind of person you want to be. Do you want to be the person who makes excuses, who looks for reasons to stay where they are, who lets fear and doubt dictate their actions? Or do you want to be the person who takes responsibility, who faces challenges head on, who works through the pain and the struggle and comes out stronger on the other side? The choice is yours. But you have to decide. And the moment you stop making excuses, the moment you take full accountability for your life, is the moment that everything starts to change. Winners know that success doesn't come easy, but they also know that it doesn't come at all if you don't show up and put in the work. They don't sit around making excuses for why they can't do something. They go out and do it. And when they stumble, when they fall, when things don't go as planned, they get back up and keep going. Because they understand that success is a journey, not a destination. It's a process of showing up, putting in the work, facing the challenges, and learning along the way. And they know that the only way to truly fail is to quit, to make excuses, and to give up on themselves. So let me ask you again, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and make excuses, or are you going to stand up, take control of your life, and start taking action? Because the moment you stop making excuses is the moment you start winning. Life will throw challenges at you. That's the truth. No matter who you are, where you come from, or how good you are, obstacles are part of the deal. You can't avoid them. They will come at you from every direction, whether you're ready for them or not. And you know what? That's okay. In fact, that's what makes life interesting. That's what makes it worth living. Because without obstacles, without challenges, there would be no growth, no progress, no opportunity to become better than you were yesterday. The obstacles you face are what shape you, what mold you, what make you who you are. The key to success is not in avoiding these obstacles, but in overcoming them. You see, it's not the obstacles themselves that determine your success, it's how you respond to them. It's how you rise above them. Life is never going to be a smooth, straight path. It's going to be filled with bumps, detours, and roadblocks. You've got to understand this right now. The road to success is not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be without hardship. The road to success is supposed to challenge you, to test you, to see if you really want it bad enough. You want to know the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. It's how they handle the challenges. The people who succeed are the ones who keep moving forward, no matter how hard it gets. The people who succeed are the ones who understand that every obstacle is a chance to grow, to learn, and to push themselves beyond what they thought was possible. Obstacles are not roadblocks, they are stepping stones. Every time you face a challenge, you have an opportunity to prove to yourself what you're made of. You have an opportunity to show your strength, your resilience, your ability to adapt and overcome. Too many people look at obstacles and see them as reasons to quit, reasons to give up. They see them as insurmountable walls and they let them stop them in their tracks. But winners, they look at obstacles and see them as opportunities to rise. They see challenges as the very thing that will help them become stronger, better, and more capable than they were before. It's not the obstacles themselves that define your success, it's how you approach them. It's easy to get discouraged when you hit a bump in the road. It's easy to feel like the universe is conspiring against you when everything seems to be going wrong. But listen to me, every successful person has faced those same feelings. Every successful person has gone through moments where they felt like they couldn't go on, where they wanted to throw in the towel and quit. Every person who has ever achieved anything worthwhile has faced moments of doubt, fear, and frustration. The difference is they didn't let those feelings stop them. They didn't let those obstacles define their journey. They found a way through. They didn't sit there making excuses or wallowing in self-pity. They got up, dusted themselves off, and kept moving forward. That's the mindset you've got to adopt. You've got to train your mind to see obstacles as opportunities, not as reasons to quit. When you face a setback, don't let it knock you down. Don't let it make you feel like you're not good enough, like you're not capable of overcoming it. You are capable. You are strong enough. You just have to believe that, and you have to keep going. You have to remind yourself that every obstacle you face is a chance to get better, to get stronger, to prove to yourself and to the world that you can handle whatever comes your way. It's also important to remember that not every obstacle is something you can control. Sometimes life happens. Sometimes things go wrong that are completely outside of your control. You lose a job. You lose a loved one. You face a health crisis. These things happen, and they are difficult. They are painful, and they can make you feel like you've lost everything. But what you have to understand is that you always have control over one thing: your response. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it. You can choose to sit there and feel sorry for yourself, or you can choose to rise above it. You can choose to take that challenge and turn it into a catalyst for growth. You can choose to take the lessons from that hardship and use them to build a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. It's easy to feel like everything is falling apart when things aren't going your way. But I promise you, it's in those moments, those times of struggle, that the true strength inside of you begins to show. The people who succeed are not the ones who have never faced hardship. They're the ones who keep going in the face of it. The ones who refuse to back down, to quit, to let the obstacles define them. They use those obstacles as fuel to keep moving, to keep pushing, to keep growing. Remember, these obstacles are not permanent. They may feel permanent in the moment, but they're not. The roadblock you face today is not the roadblock you'll face forever. Every challenge has a solution, even if you don't know it yet. Every obstacle has a way out, even if you can't see it at the moment. And sometimes the way out is simply to keep moving forward. When you face an obstacle, don't stand still. Don't let it paralyze you. Take a step forward, even if it's a small step. Because every small step brings you closer to overcoming that obstacle. Every small step gets you closer to your goal. And before you know it, you've moved past the challenge and you're on to the next one, stronger and more capable than ever before. Don't let obstacles make you feel like you're not good enough. Don't let them convince you that success is for someone else. The obstacles you face are just part of the journey. They are just steps along the way, part of the process that will make you stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the success that's waiting for you on the other side. You've got to have the right mindset. You've got to believe that no matter what comes your way, you can handle it. You've got to believe that every challenge is just another chance to grow, to learn, and to become the best version of yourself. Overcoming obstacles isn't always easy, and it's not always immediate. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it requires a shift in perspective. Sometimes it requires you to go through the pain and the struggle to come out the other side stronger than before. But I'll tell you this, the obstacles you face now will only make the success you achieve later that much sweeter. The challenges you face today will shape you into the person you need to be to accomplish everything you've dreamed of. The process may not be easy, but it will be worth it. The greatest people in history didn't achieve greatness because they had it easy. They achieved greatness because they overcame challenge after challenge after challenge. They faced obstacle after obstacle, and they didn't let any of them stop them. They didn't make excuses. They didn't quit. They kept going because they knew that success wasn't about avoiding obstacles. Success was about overcoming them. Success was about facing every challenge head on and continuing the fight until they reached their goal. And that's what you've got to do too. So when you're faced with an obstacle, don't look for an excuse. Don't look for a way to get out of it or around it. Look for a way through it. Look for a way to rise above it. The obstacles you face today will pass, but the strength and resilience you develop from overcoming them will stay with you forever. And that strength is what will carry you to success. Consistency and effort are the twin pillars of success. You've heard it before, but it's worth repeating. It's not about how hard you work once in a while. It's about how hard you work every single day. You can't expect results from sporadic bursts of effort. Success doesn't come from grand gestures or sudden moments of brilliance. Success comes from the mundane, the daily grind, the commitment to keep going when no one's watching. It's about doing what needs to be done, not just when it's convenient, but every day, regardless of the circumstances. Consistency and effort are the fuel that powers the engine of progress. And without them, no amount of talent, luck, or ambition will take you as far as you want to go. The thing about consistency is that it doesn't always look glamorous. It doesn't always feel exciting. It's easy to want to jump ahead, to expect results right away, to wish for quick success. But real, lasting success is built on the slow and steady. It's built on the effort you put in every single day, even when you don't see immediate results, even when the path feels long and uncertain. What separates the winners from the rest of the pack isn't that they're the smartest or the most talented, it's that they show up every day, putting in the work, doing the small things that add up over time. We live in a world that loves instant gratification. We want things now. We want results quickly. We don't want to wait, and we certainly don't want to put in the effort. But let me tell you, the things that matter most in life are the things that require time, patience, and dedication. Nothing worth having comes easily. Whether you're trying to build a career, achieve a personal goal, or make a difference in the world, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time, and it's going to take effort. The sooner you accept that, the better off you'll be. Stop looking for shortcuts. Stop looking for easy ways out. Real success is about showing up every day and doing the work, even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere. Now, don't get me wrong, effort is important. You can't just show up and go through the motions. You've got to give your best. You've got to bring your full energy, your focus, your dedication to everything you do. If you're not putting in the effort, then you're not going to see the results. But effort without consistency is like a fire that burns brightly for a moment and then fades away. If you're only putting in the effort sporadically, then you'll see some results for a while, but those results won't last. Success isn't just about burning hot for a minute. It's about being able to keep that fire going day in and day out, no matter what. The key is in doing the work consistently without looking for immediate rewards. Consistency doesn't mean doing the same thing over and over without ever changing course. It's not about mindlessly repeating tasks without thought. No, consistency is about sticking to your plan, sticking to your principles, even when it feels like nothing is happening. It's about showing up even when the results are slow to come. And while you're showing up, while you're putting in the effort, you're also learning, you're growing, and you're improving. That's the power of consistency. It allows you to keep moving forward, even when progress feels small, even when the path isn't clear. There's something else about effort and consistency that's worth mentioning: the discipline it requires. To be consistent, you've got to have discipline. You've got to be able to push through when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, when you're facing setbacks, when the odds are against you. Discipline is what keeps you going when the motivation fades. Motivation comes and goes. It's a fleeting feeling that can't be relied upon. But discipline is what gets you out of bed, what gets you to the gym, what gets you to the office, day in and day out. Discipline is the foundation upon which consistency is built. And discipline is what will carry you when everything else feels hard, when you feel like quitting, when it seems like the effort isn't paying off. The truth is, effort and consistency aren't always glamorous. They're not always exciting. There's no flash, no spotlight, no immediate reward. But that's exactly why they're so powerful. It's easy to get distracted by the shiny objects, the quick fixes, the promises of instant success. It's easy to think that there's some secret to success that everyone else knows, but you don't. But the secret is this: it's the steady, unglamorous, behind-the-scenes work that produces real results. It's the effort you put in every single day, no matter how small, that adds up to big changes. It's the consistency that builds momentum, that turns small wins into bigger wins. And it's the consistency that, over time, builds trust and credibility. Consistency is about building a habit. It's about doing something so often that it becomes part of your routine, part of your life. It's about making success a part of who you are, not just something you do occasionally. The more consistent you are, the more you wire your brain to expect success, to expect results. And as you build this habit of consistency, you start to see the compound effect take place. Those small efforts that seemed insignificant at first start to accumulate, and suddenly you've made tremendous progress. You look back and realize that all those little steps you took every day have added up to something big. This is where the real power of consistency lies, in the small things. We often overlook the small things, thinking they don't matter. But it's the small things that matter most. It's the little decisions you make every day that create the life you want. If you're consistent in the small things and doing the little things right and showing up every day and putting in the effort, then the big things will take care of themselves. Success is the result of the accumulation of small efforts, compounded over time. But this isn't always easy. There are going to be days when you don't feel like it. There will be days when you're tired, when things aren't going your way, when you don't see the results you want. And that's when consistency matters the most. On those days, you have to keep going. On those days, you have to push through. You have to trust that the effort you're putting in today will pay off tomorrow. You have to believe that the progress you're making, no matter how small, is still progress. And you have to remember that success isn't a destination, it's a journey. And that journey is built one day at a time, one step at a time. But the real truth is, consistency and effort are not just about achieving external success, they're about internal growth. They're about building the character, the resilience, the discipline, and the mindset you need to succeed. It's not just about the rewards, it's about who you become along the way. Every time you show up, every time you put in the effort, you're becoming a better version of yourself. You're building the strength to face bigger challenges. Taking ownership and accountability is the cornerstone of true growth and success. It is one of the most powerful attributes that you can cultivate in your life. When you take ownership of your actions, your choices, and your results, you hold the key to your destiny. Accountability is not just about admitting when you've made a mistake, but also about recognizing that you have the power to change your course, to improve, and to push forward regardless of setbacks. It's about taking full responsibility for your life no matter what happens. You cannot blame your circumstances, your upbringing, or anyone else for where you are today. It is your actions, your mindset, your decisions that have brought you to this point. And only by taking full ownership can you move forward and make the kind of progress that will lead you to success. In a world where excuses are rampant and blame is easy to place, taking ownership is a rare but powerful trait. People want to point fingers to place blame on others, on the system, on bad luck, or on forces beyond their control. But none of that will help you. It won't move you forward. It won't bring you the results you want. If you want to change your life, you have to stop making excuses. You have to stop blaming others for your shortcomings and start taking responsibility for where you are. When you own your mistakes, your failures, your shortcomings, you take away the power of external forces to control you. You empower yourself to make better choices and to take action that will lead to a better future. Taking ownership means accepting that you are in control of your destiny. It means recognizing that no one is coming to save you. No one is going to fix your problems for you. The life you want to live is up to you. The decisions you make today will determine the kind of life you'll have tomorrow. Whether you succeed or fail is determined by how you choose to respond to the challenges, how you choose to learn from your mistakes, and how you choose to keep moving forward despite the obstacles. One of the hardest things for people to accept is the fact that they have the power to change their circumstances. It's so much easier to point to external factors, to blame others, to make excuses. But the truth is, the only person who can change your life is you. You have to take full ownership of your situation. That doesn't mean that everything in your life will be easy or that you won't face challenges. But when you take ownership, you stop being a passive observer and start being an active participant in shaping your future. You stop being the victim of your circumstances and start being the creator of your life. Accountability goes hand in hand with ownership. It's not enough to just acknowledge your role in your life circumstances. You must hold yourself accountable for your actions and results. Accountability is about setting high standards for yourself and being honest with yourself about whether or not you are meeting them. It's about taking responsibility for your progress, for your setbacks, and for your overall success. Accountability requires you to be real with yourself. It's easy to fall into the trap of making excuses, but that will only hold you back. When you hold yourself accountable, you commit to doing what it takes to improve, to learn, and to keep pushing forward even when it's hard. Taking ownership and being accountable isn't just about your actions, it's about your mindset. It's about having the courage to look at yourself and recognize where you are falling short, where you need to improve, and where you need to step up. Too many people avoid taking responsibility for their actions because they are afraid of what it might mean. They're afraid of looking imperfect, of admitting their mistakes, of showing vulnerability. But true strength comes from acknowledging your weaknesses and taking ownership of them. Only by recognizing where you fall short can you begin to improve. Growth happens when you're honest with yourself about where you need to get better. When you take ownership, you stop waiting for things to change. You stop blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck for your lack of progress. Instead, you take responsibility for what you can control and you take action. You take ownership of your time, your energy, your focus, and your attitude. You decide what you're going to do today to move yourself closer to your goals. You take accountability for your commitments and you follow through on them. It doesn't matter if things are difficult or if you don't feel like it. Ownership means you make things happen regardless of how you feel. It's about understanding that your success is directly tied to your efforts and that you can't wait for the world to hand you what you want. You have to go after it yourself. This doesn't mean that everything will always go according to plan. Taking ownership doesn't mean pretending that you won't face setbacks, difficulties, or challenges. You will face adversity. You will make mistakes. But taking ownership means that when you do, you take responsibility for how you handle them. You take responsibility for learning from your failures, for getting back up after you fall, and for continuing to move forward. When you take ownership, you stop blaming others for your struggles. You understand that your growth and success depend on how you respond to those challenges, not on the challenges themselves. It's how you handle adversity that truly defines you. And when you take responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and your reactions, you become empowered to overcome anything that comes your way. When you don't take ownership, you give up your power. You allow others and external forces to control your life. You give them permission to dictate your happiness, your progress, and your future. But when you take ownership, you take back that power. You take control of your own destiny. No one else can do that for you. It's your responsibility to create the life you want, to make the choices that will get you closer to your goals, and to take accountability for the results that follow. Accountability also means that you stop making excuses. Excuses are just ways to avoid taking responsibility for your actions. They're the easiest thing in the world to make, but they lead nowhere. Excuses keep you stuck in the same place, preventing you from moving forward. They're the enemy of progress. Every time you make an excuse, you're telling yourself that you're not in control of your life. You're telling yourself that something or someone else is to blame for your situation. But when you take ownership, you eliminate excuses. You stop looking for reasons why you can't do something and start looking for ways to make it happen. You stop letting fear or doubt control you, and instead you take action. You face challenges head on, knowing that you have the power to overcome them. Another important aspect of taking ownership and accountability is being proactive. Being proactive means that you don't wait for things to happen, you make them happen. You don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect conditions. You create those opportunities by taking action. You don't wait for someone to tell you what to do. You take responsibility for your life and make the decisions that will move you forward. Proactivity is about not waiting for permission to succeed, but about taking charge of your own future and doing whatever it takes to get where you want to go. When you take ownership of your life, you stop being a victim. You stop letting circumstances define you. You stop waiting for others to give you permission to live the life you want. Taking ownership means you take full control of your choices and decisions. It means you take responsibility for your actions and the results that follow. It means you stop looking for reasons to avoid responsibility and instead step up and do what needs to be done. By doing so, you become the architect of your own success, creating the life you've always dreamed of. It all comes down to this: taking ownership and accountability is not just a concept, it's a way of living. It's a mindset that will propel you to places you never thought possible. It's the difference between remaining stuck in your circumstances and stepping into the life you've always wanted. When you own your decisions and take full responsibility for your life, you unlock your full potential. You stop making excuses and start making things happen. You stop waiting for others to change your life and start doing it yourself. And that is the power of ownership and accountability. It's the key to success, growth, and a life that you can be proud of.